Joe Palmer, we are back.
Will Vinay, yes, we are. And, it just keeps getting more and more fun. You figure from one of these episodes to the next, how do we top that, and how does the next speaker or presenter top it? Go greater or bigger or stronger than the last one.
And you're not doing it this time.
No,
but
no.
We have hopes. We're optimistic. We are very, very positive-minded when we go into this, and we will try our best to keep you out of bureaucracy. How about that?
Appreciate that.
All right. If you maybe are watching these in series or are watching them live, we just had an interview with Chief Carter Jones, and now we are delighted and humbled and appreciative to have our state fire marshal, Chief Jonathan Jones, who may be related.
We're not sure.
By intent, but by accident, maybe. I don't know, whatever. But we appreciate, sir, you sitting in here with us and having some conversations. You did that as we did our very first opening on Thursday.
Yes.
Yep, Thursday. So you dropped in for us, and we appreciate that. Now we're going to have some conversation with intent, if you would, specifics and things. But we appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
So
it's just kind of a hangout, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you weren't so damn busy this week and having to do so much and, be in every meeting and make your presentation, that you're probably going to say some of the same things that you've said 50 times this week. This would be our panel.
Yeah, right.
To do the podcast.
You would be the third person in the box.
Cool. I like that.
Or you would bump me. I don't know if they only kept two. But so,
Which
for the
is
folks at home.
to change at any moment. I mean, our contract's pretty flimsy, so, you never know.
Yeah, I know, now that he's made it all the way up to State Fire Marshal, he doesn't tell as many people of how close that we are. But I can respect that. I get it. But me and Jonathan have come through the association together, through the fire service together, one of my best friends, and I'm just glad to have you on. I would rather have you on not in that uniform so we could really cut up, but we'll keep it professional, mostly.
A lot of intent behind that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to come a day that we can have a tell-all book of what we know and what we can't share today.
I'll have a beard like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've seen you in a beard. It works.
Yeah.
I'm not going to grow one like the two of y'all. I can't do that.
Well, this was some of my motivation. Jonathan was my motivation. His COVID beard inspired my retired beard.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I tried it. I did it. Been there, and I just said no thanks. Anyway, it's not for me. Can't do
Some faces, it's just better to cover up.
That's right. That's
Maybe that's the issue. That's the point. All right, there you go. I'll go with that one. Chief, work has been incredible this past 6 months. Your team has just been just getting after it. And it just seems like we're going to talk in a few minutes with one of your staff members, but it just seems like with natural events and with stuff you got going on, you ended up a budget cycle, a legislative sessions going on and on and on. You guys never stop.
It really doesn't. There's really no time that's a lull. It's you go through January to really the 1st of June. You're in the legislative session, and of course, the association's busy with the legislative session as well. This year coincided with an extreme fire season, and then June 1, you're in hurricane season, and that takes you to almost the end of the year. So it's just you adapt to whatever the activity is, and our team's really good at doing that. And so we're blessed with a really good team that still gets the job done in the office, gets the courses delivered, the inspections done, and then when a fire or hurricane comes, we just change gears.
You've got so many everybody, when they think of your office, they think of the enforcement, inspection, the codes side of things. They think of the academy side of things. But you've got a lot of specialty functions and groups. None for us right now this week as important as your IST folks. I mean, that's just a function that many people don't realize that you've got going on that are helping us right here in this building. And that's just an example of the many things that your team does. That may not even be primary job function, but they're jumping in and doing other things to benefit the fire service. It's just pretty incredible to see.
Well, I mean, in the end, it's just another way to serve the fire service. And so I think that's the way we look at it is this is just another extension to reach the folks that matter to our mission. And I said it the other day during the business meeting. You know, we focus a lot on what we do, but the real focus is on why we do it and who we do it for. And this is just another way to serve the fire service, which is why we're here and who we do it for. And you know, I think the hidden blessing are the folks we get to do it with and share the experiences with. And yeah, we're really blessed with folks that the mission matters to.
Well, and we were joking about your uniform and everything, but I appreciate you wearing it, because as we've been sitting here, it's been, to your point, it's been nice to be able to walk through here and see, even right now, individuals in that uniform that are mingling, being part of, and it's not like you're just in a booth somewhere. You're part of this now. You're part of this organization. That's a mindset with that I appreciate, and it shows just as you go through this event.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things this year, as I was telling our folks, is I want us to look like State Fire. I'm proud to wear this uniform. I'm proud to wear this badge. I'm proud of the patches that represent not just State Fire, but the different program areas. And as we're walking around, I want us to look like State Fire. I want people to be able to look and instantly recognize. I mean, it'd be easy to wear shorts and flip-flops. You won't see me in flip-flops, but it'd be easy to wear shorts and flip-flops. But I'm proud to wear this uniform.
You are in what year are you in your tenure as State Fire Marshal?
I'm now in my 9th year. 8 years this past March, so I'm in my 9th year. Yeah.
In the 9 years, what would you say has been the biggest eye opener that you've had in this role? What's the thing that going into this, you had incredible skills and talents and abilities. You went into this. Which one you had to flex the most? What's been the biggest surprise? What's the thing that strikes you day in and day out that you've had a muscle you've had to exercise? The thing that's excited you the most, maybe even with this job?
Well, I mean, I think that's a really good question. You know, coming through the fire service and having served on the Fire Academy Advisory Committee, having chaired that, we served together on that. We served together on that, actually. Yeah. So. You know, having the experiences that I've had in the South Carolina Fire Service, I'm not sure any of that really prepares you to be the State Fire Marshal. You know, we've talked about just when I initially came in as State Fire Marshal, I went in with what I thought was a pretty good understanding of how it all works, and then I've realized I didn't know everything I thought I knew. And to be able to understand, and even how the state budget works and how the difference between authorization and appropriations and all that kind of stuff, how the 1% money works, which
for your side, that's
it's different. And so
it was a mystery to us until you came along, quite frankly.
Well, I mean, it was. I think it was a mystery to all of us, not intentionally a mystery, but just not really understanding. I think one of the things I've really tried to do is share that, because I went to previous state fire marshals and said, "Can you explain how this works?" And honestly, I never really figured it out.
And all they said was, "It's a beautiful day in South Carolina."
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, and I think one of the things that has been good for us is the consistency in. The average lifespan of the state fire marshal has been like 18 months.
I was going to go there in a minute.
And
that's
so
why I asked you.
I think the consistency of leadership and investing in our team and wanting to share everything we learn and everything we know with everyone at every level within our organization, but then also wanting to share it as much as we can with the fire service so others understand and there's not really a mystery to it. I think we're better off when we understand how all the pieces work and how they all fit together.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that this is current state of state fire is the best state fire that I've experienced in my career. What y'all provide, what your focus is, how y'all serve the mission and stay true to it. And I think that for a long time, state fire was fragmented, where you had, fire marshal's office, you had training side of it, and it always felt like to me that people of state fire, when they came here, we're not really all in the fire service that we, as much as they provide. It didn't feel like, not that they weren't, they didn't feel like. Here, in this conference, you take a look around and how things are going and just how things are going throughout the state. Y'all are involved in so much, doing so much, part of so much. And I can see it in the look of your members' faces that they're serving a purpose and making a difference. And that's the biggest change that I've seen. And I give you a lot of credit for that leadership, but I know how strong that team is.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, we are the state's fire service. We're a part of it. And I think one of the challenges that had to be overcome when I was first appointed state fire marshal is the mentality of state fire is they, right? And collectively, we are part of the state fire service. And regardless of what position you hold in our organization, you have a role in the mission. Everybody contributes. It's easy to get hyper focused on your individual task, but we have to constantly keep the big picture in front of folks so that they understand that everybody has a role in the mission, and that we don't develop those silos. That we understand that there are threads throughout that connect all of us, and then threads going out that connect us all to the fire service.
And in addition to those outs and within, though, there's also the connection upward, if you will, organizationally, that I think is as strong now as it has ever been because of personalities or because of your work and because of staff's work. I would argue that that same thing, Will, is true about SCLLR right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Director Farr is a huge supporter. She not only buys into our mission and what we do and why we do it and who we do it for, but she's involved. She's very involved, and so there's it's not an involvement from the standpoint of micromanaging or anything. She really does care.
She cares.
She really does care, and so. A great relationship with our parent organization, and we really we're treated like not just a division, but we're treated as part of the leadership. And she seeks input on things that have nothing to do with state fire, and that's a testament to the way that she leads and the support that she gives us, and by extension to the state's fire service.
She's the best LLR director we've ever had, and I lost count some years ago whether it was like 8 or 9 of them, and I've had the pleasure and sometimes the misfortune of having to work with LLR directors, and by far she has been the best, not just for the fire service, but I have watched her engagement in a number of other issues. Now, in addition to that, the OSHA side of it with Ms. Baker, being the deputy director, and have seen that same flow of willingness, of information, of collaboration, of just cooperation that I had never seen before in that organization. That speaks to the trust they have in you and your staff. But I think that we have built something now that all of us can take forward for the years to come if we just strive real hard to do it.
Well, and you know what really is, I think, the secret to the sauce, or the secret sauce, is the heart behind it all. I mean, our folks really, really care, and they, the hours that some of them put in. I was talking with regional coordinators last night. I mean, they're never off. The regional training quarters, they're never off. We have responded to, fire fatality while the conference has been going on. We had a heart mission last night that we had to coordinate.
Right.
Actually, it was the rescue was in North Carolina. North Carolina didn't have an airframe available, and they contacted us and said, "Can y'all fly the mission?" And so last night during dinner, Brian Archibald and I are stepping out to coordinate rescuers from the upstate, members of Task Force 1 and HART. The Colonel Pipkin is coordinating the airframe and everything, and so it never stops. And it takes a lot of heart from our people, our team.
A lot of heart. I saw that pun.
That you never, heart. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it takes a lot of heart to constantly be on. There's never a time when we get to turn it off, and that can be taxing. I think one of the things that one of our challenges going forward is we have tons of talent, and we have. We've got to find more capacity within the talent. because we have folks that just never get a chance to turn it off, and they're okay with that. But
It's not sustainable, right?
When we're deployed, we make sure we take care of each other, whether it's putting a protein shake in front of somebody to make sure that they're taking care of themselves because they're not eating, or telling somebody, look, man, go bed down, leave me your cell phone, turn it off for a little bit, and go bed down and get some rest. Go home and see your family for a little bit, because during a hurricane, we maybe stood up 20 days. Table Rock at 14 days. I think it was 9 days for the Covington Drive fire. And so it's just one thing after another, and it takes more than just dedication. It's a heart for what we do, why we do it, and who we do it for that really drives that.
You're doing something pretty exciting that I was honored to be a very, 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 very small part of this year in a couple of occasions, and that is your team development with your institute, your academy that you're doing. Tell the group a little bit about that. I think
Sure.
it's very innovative. So.
Sure. So we, somewhat modeled after the Leadership Institute, we host State Fire University, which is for our team members. It's a chance for us to invest in them, provide some opportunities to mentor, honestly, to learn from them. Again, we have tons of talent, and sometimes that talent is hidden by your job, because you become so hyper-focused on your individual task and what your day-to-day role is. But there's so much we can learn from each other. So State Fire University is a year-long program where we really try to expose them not to just what we do, but to the fire service that we serve. And so we spend time learning about the agency as a whole. I think we not only can we get task saturated in your day-to-day jobs, but we can also get task saturated in just State Fire. But we're part of a larger organization that has tons of talent, and there are so many places where there's intersects, whether it's OSHA, whether it's professional licensing, where we're working together. We do inspections for some of the licensing boards, the Board of Pyrotechnic Safety, LP Gas Board. We do those. We're agents of those boards from the enforcement and inspection standpoint. So it's exposing them to the agency. It's exposing them to just the transparency of how State Fire works, why it works that way. We do a deep dive. I can bore people to death with talking about the budget and the finance, but the more we understand that at every level within the team, I think the better we are. One of the things that I'm really kind of focused on this year is vertical and horizontal involvement of our team kind of across what all we do. Okay. Not just focusing on just what you do, but involving them and, being willing to ask questions across the different program areas, fresh sets of eyes and all those kinds of things. I think that is the next level of our team. I think we're really good at what we do day in and day out, but I think the next level for our team is recognizing that you're part of a bigger organization and that you have a role. Everybody has a role in our mission, but then there are opportunities, and I think that's really what it comes to is how do you take a team a really good team to the next level? It's not just giving them opportunities, but letting them discover opportunities. One of my favorite things about the Leadership Institute, one of my favorite things about State Fire University is when you help someone kind of see their purpose and you discover their passions and you find a way to make purpose and passion collide. And their individual projects are things that they get to decide on that they can use in their day-to-day work. But it's really neat to have watched some of their individual projects work their way into a strategic plan.
Oh, wow. Sure.
It's neat to watch some of their individual projects come to life, and we're doing those things now. And so, State Fire University is one of my favorite things. I get to spend a lot of personal time with them, have some in-depth, non-work conversations, just leadership philosophies, talking about team dynamics and how do we work better together as a team, how do we better support each other, how do we better serve both our mission and the fire service, and how does our team get to the next level. I think it's always dangerous when you get to a point, or if you ever get to a point that you say this is as good as it's going to get, you know, and then honestly preparing our team for what's next. You know, so State Fire University is a fun thing. We do a big State Fire team meeting every year in July. That's coming up this year, and we have lunch together as all the team members of State Fire, and I get a chance to talk with them and share with them and kind of lay out some thoughts for the next year. Last year we kind of reviewed our last 3-year strategic plan and all the accomplishments our team has made. We've laid out our strategic plan for the next 3 years, and really I want the team involved in determining how we do it. You know, from a leadership perspective, we give goals and objectives, but really I want the input from the folks that are executing the plan as to what is it going to take to do this. They know it better than I do.
Well, so our career when we were young whippersnappers, your dad beat into us, State Fire needs to be the fire focal point. And I think you've been able to accomplish that to make it the fire focal point. But this started back when you were president of the association. If you remember because when I gave my 4th vice speech, one of the things that I said, and I meant, we need to be out of LLR. We need to come out of LLR, and we need to be somewhere else or our own. Because in my mind, I never envisioned a relationship as good as we have now with someone like Emily. Now, if you remember when you were president, it was either, Holly or Rochelle, you gave a tour, right? And then the following year, made me continue it, and you set it up and said, so what we did was we were able to build that relationship and kind of show them around, teach them more about the fire service so they understood what we did and why we do it. And we were able to come in here when nobody else was in here and really have those conversations. So you knew the importance of not fighting LLR, but building that relationship. And then when you get in, then you were able to build a great relationship that really grew your organization. So I think that, outside looking in, is probably my biggest surprise, is how good a relationship Fire has with LLR. And I think that's the relationship between, even after you leave and Emily leaves, something has to be set in place that relationship continues. So I don't know if I had a question in there. It was an observation.
Yeah, I really didn't hear anything that ended with a question mark.
It was
a trust build
and
up.
just that team building.
Understanding build up. You had relationships that were repaired, but just improved because you understand another human being and where they're coming from a little bit on both sides. But it was always viewed as an adversarial problem child that existed in State Fire, and it just never was true, and you never could get it through. Well, stars aligned.
So as we're going, there was always the trouble of, okay, how are we going to fund USAR? So what you did was you not separated, but you just kind of focused on, okay, this is what we do. We do enforcement, we do training, and we also have an emergency response. I think it's 4-pronged though, right? Is it 3-pronged 4?
The 3 main programs.
Yeah.
We accomplish our mission really through 3 main program areas, and then we have kind of division-wide operations which supports all that. Yeah.
But you really highlighted the response of it, and I think you educated legislators on, look, this is what State Fire does.
I don't know that I highlighted response. I think circumstances.
Well, yes.
I think hurricanes and wildland fires highlighted it.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to. Yeah. We got the opportunity to highlight.
Yeah, it was either look, it's here. Either we're good at it or we're not, and we had to be good at it. One of our trips in State Fire University, we go to a predominantly volunteer fire department, much like Leadership Institute. We go to a all-paid fire department. We do a combination fire and a combination department. This is also fire-based EMS. And one of our last trips was to Charleston Fire Department. And Chief Curia said, the name of our organization is Charleston Fire Department. Fire's in our name. We better be good at it. And so it's kind of one of those things. We don't really have an option but to be good at it. And so we're blessed with an emergency response team that's bigger than just the emergency response team. When you look at we've got employees, team members from State Fire from all the different areas of State Fire that are on Task Force 1. We've got deputies, instructors, members of division-wide operations that participate in emergency response. And the reality is, when we have a hurricane, that becomes our primary focus. I mean, we try to keep the classes going as best we can. So, a lot of times, obviously, they cancel based on location and the impacts from the storm. We try to keep all those things going, but our focus has to be the state needs us to be really good at this right now. And if we can't provide that level of service that they need, then people are going to suffer. And I think we shine best when we're able to really harness the talents, the passion, and the heart of our team to solve big problems.
All right, where does it go from here? Let's talk about the future, because I know between the incredibly talented people that you've got, what would the viewers of this or the people that are walking around today, what's the future of State Fire? What are the things that are coming, the big ticket items, or what's your and staff's vision for what's coming next for State Fire?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about that lately. We in reality, the service we provide hasn't really changed, right? I mean, I think we provide the services better. I mean, there's always going to be
firefighter training classes,
course deliveries. We're constantly having to update curriculum as standards change and those kinds of things. Our deputies, the mindset of our deputies. I introduced a we care philosophy in that we should always be welcoming, which kind of goes back to Brunacini. There's no reason to not be nice.
Right.
Every interaction is an opportunity to provide education. We educate. We collaborate. We work together to solve problems. The goal is not to write a citation. The goal is to achieve compliance, and compliance means safety. We advocate for what is the safest thing for the citizen. We help them remediate their issues. And when all of that fails, we have to enforce. And so, I think what's next is really a continuation of what we do, but the constantly seeking to do it better. And so, that we're looking at our next strategic plan and how we accomplish those things, and how to involve our entire team so that there's not just effective communication, collaboration, and working together, but really integration to where we realize that we are connected by our mission. And it really doesn't matter what area you work in, there's a connection to it all. And so I think what's next for State Fire is just taking our team to the next level. And we've got so many big projects on the horizon. We've got continuation of capital improvement projects on the campus. We're constantly looking at how do we better serve the fire service in every aspect of that. How do we improve efficiency and effectiveness in course delivery? We're working on some big, and in the end, the fire service will probably never realize it, but we're working on some big technology improvements that's going to create tons of efficiency, because reality is we still do a lot of what we do the way it's been done since the 90s. Right. In terms of processing course packages and all those kinds of things, we're looking at some big technology projects that will improve efficiency, and in the end, I think improve the end user experience in the fire portal. We're constantly looking at how do we maximize the use of time? I mean, we all have the same amount of time. How do we maximize the use of our time so that our folks can be more connected to the fire service and responsive to the needs of the fire service? Capacity is a challenge. I think it's a challenge for anybody, is finding that capacity to do more, and maybe not necessarily do more in terms of volume, but to serve better, to be more responsive, to provide better. I hate to call it fire service customers because they're not customers. It's relationships, right? And so I think that's one of the things we're looking at. We're getting close. Chad's sitting out there. We're getting close to replacing, completing the replacement of the Type 1 cache for Task Force 1.
Well, I was going to ask you now, because last year when you were in here, you bought a pretty big widget. I just wondered if Chad had another item on his list for this year.
Chad always has another item on his list.
He's always got a list.
Yeah, he tells people he's my most expensive employee. I promise you, he has walked through here
and picked out what he wants.
And he has already identified the next game changer, as he would say it.
Yeah,
he's already identified the next game changer.
Have to have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the mobile command center, I think, is going to be. It's already been heavily used. Just in the month of March, I mean, it was deployed. 23 days out of the entire month of March, and so we worked out of it. It ran 24/7 for 14 days at Table Rock, and so I think you're going to see when you call for help, you're going to get more help than you anticipated, and so we're building around that. How do we better support firefighter mobilization requests, where not only when you ask for the resources, we're going to provide you the opportunity to also have assistance with managing those resources, because I think a lot of times we don't think about the need for the overhead to manage all the resources you're asking for, and the reality is our folks are pretty good at it, and so I think that was a really good investment. It's already paid off tremendously in the mobile command center, and we take a lot of pride in it. But again, it's how do we better provide the service and support that our mission says we do, and the end state, the goal is we save lives and property in the process. And I think that's been a mindset change maybe over the last years. I can remember previous superintendent wanting me to come work at the fire academy, and I'm like, man, I like going to calls. I don't want to just be on a campus. And now everybody on our team has an opportunity to still be involved, and even if you're not from a fire service background, there's a place for you in that.
It allows shared mission, and I think that's one of the things that's changed the whole philosophy of this thing too, is that component has allowed shared mission with all the people that are walking around here. It wasn't just you weren't an enforcement arm or a hoop they had to jump through in training. Now we're together in a shared mission. So I think that's probably had an unintended benefit for all of us.
Well, in our mission statement, you mentioned it, in our mission statement, it says our mission is to be the focal point. We want to be the focal point, but we don't necessarily want to be the focus.
Right.
So how do we maintain being the ones, the organization you think of when you don't know who to call, much like the local fire department? How do we maintain that status or that vision of being the focal point? But our goal is, when we're helping you, our goal is not to be the focus. We want you to be the focus. We want to kind of be the support behind the scenes, and that's why in our mission statement we talk about service and support. It's not to be on the front.
Yeah, we ain't here to take over.
We're not there to take over, absolutely. And so I think that's an important differentiation, is you want to be the focal point but not the focus.
And I think you got another one?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you taking notes.
I do have a couple of notes.
Right.
So true or false, someone is assigned to monitor your consumption of protein shakes on deployment.
I don't know that that's an official assignment, but it does happen.
Is that in the accountability system?
I can confirm that with the judges in the audience.
Yeah, that does happen. I do not take good care of myself on deployment, and look, the reality is, I love being deployed. And that's just Does the state fire marshal need to be sleeping on a cot and working? Not necessarily, but it's what I want to do. I wouldn't be me if I didn't get.
You can't help yourself.
But I truly don't take good care of myself on deployment. I don't eat well. I don't sleep well, but I would say it's not just ensuring that I drink my protein. My Ensure, but that our team takes care of itself, and I think collectively we really look out for each other, and that's important. I mean, we're a team, and it's all about relationships and taking care of each other. And when any one of us is not performing at our best, it affects the rest of the team. We talked the other day about, log PT with the Navy SEALs. So we all have to share the weight. The weight's got to be distributed. And there are times when I got to take a little bit for you to have a break.
That's right.
And we're willing to do that. And we take care of each other. And, that's the kind of team that I strive for State Fire to be, is that.
Yeah, and the last question I have is, being a state fire marshal, it seems like, you're always in the spotlight. Do you fear, just people watching, always. Do you fear any backlash from supporters of the letter G because you choose not to use it? Like in things like manning or training?
Will, I know where these questions are coming from.
There will be retribution.
I know exactly where these questions are coming from. You're getting text right now from someone in the audience.
Maybe. I mean,
And
I saw him writing. I knew what was up.
Yeah. So I am from Manning, and in Manning Public Schools, the G is always silent. And so, yes, I'm not a master of using the letter G in most of my words I pronounce.
That's like the first time when Ben first went to Presbyterian, and in Clinton, South Carolina.
Clinton.
And right over the PA system on the football game, they're like, the T is sweet and the T is silent.
Well, I think you're doing an outstanding job. Congratulations to you.
I think our team's doing it outstanding.
If you want 9 more years, I hope that's what you want. Man. That's what you get. And we appreciate the camaraderie, teamwork, combination of mission, everything we've talked about. I think congratulations to everyone.
Yeah.
But you're sitting here, so you get the brunt of it right now. But
yeah, and as your friend, I can't tell you how proud I am of you and what you've been able to accomplish. And keep it up, babe.
Well, again, I think. It's not like we're trying to put checks in boxes, right? We're just trying to do what the fire service needs us to do, and we want to be who the fire service needs us to be for them, and that's what it's really all about.
Appreciate you.